Hi, my name is Larry. I have a website called watermitigationadvice.com, and it's all about teaching you things that happens in water damage, smoke damage, water restoration work, wet drywall, your wet carpeting, things that, how you can deal with them. Today we're going to talk about wet drywall. We get a lot of questions about it. When should you replace it? When can you save it? I'll see if I can answer those questions for you. Behind me, it's a little box that I put together. It's basically some drywall, some 2x4s. It's an imitation of what the wall is like. Show you back here. These are magnets that are sticking to the wall. There's a nail behind it. That's why the magnet's sticking. It's a 2x4 running from the ceiling all the way to the floor. Same thing here. There's another magnet sticking to the nail. That's indicating it's another 2x4. They're 16 inches apart. There's different code requirements for different lengths. What I've built here is 20 inches. But basically what you have is you've got the 2x4s going all the way to the top, to the bottom. Same thing here. They block this in. The top there's a 2x4. The bottom there's another 2x4. It's sealed in. There's no air getting in there. Now, on the outside wall, maybe 1x2s instead of 2x4s. It's a little bit narrow, which means less air. And of course, most outside walls are going to have insulation, which is another reason. They're there to block drafts. So what are they going to do? They're going to block the airflow. At the top 2x4, you may have one or two little holes. They're basically for an electrical wire, cable wire, something of that nature. They're not going to let any air get in here. And that's only going to be in one particular spot. Now this type of box here that I'm showing you goes from the floor all the way to the top. And they're in sections all the way down the whole length of the wall. So each one is one box, basically, if you want to look at it that way. And that's the whole wall. So if you have water damage, it just happened and it came up to about here, that's not too bad. You can take it, pull off the baseboard, and you can seal this, but you're going to have to leave it some time. Let it dry. The outside's going to dry really quick because now it's going to get airflow. Remember, inside here is sealed. It's not going to get air. And because it just happened, it's not going to be that bad. It can evaporate some of the water into the rest of the drywall and it will dry out a bit. That you can take care of. Wait a couple of weeks, put a coat of sealer on this, and then paint it. If you try and paint it first, it's going to bleed back through. Even if you put two coats, it will more than likely bleed back through. So you want to put your coat of sealer on first. I don't get paid to recommend any particular sealer. In this case, I always use Kills, the water-based sealer. It has no odor to it. If you use the oil-based one, it has a strong odor. I don't recommend using it in the house. The water-based will cover it just fine. Now, when you have water up to here, that means it's totally saturated in there. It's going to be forever to get it dry. I'll explain a little more about that in a minute. But it's totally saturated. Now, there's a lot of videos online about wet drywall, and what I've seen out there is there's a couple of them that they'll tear out the drywall to here. The water's still continuing to the next lot. But because it's a small area, they feel, oh, that's fine. They leave it. And they cut this section out and replace it. But they don't do that. Remember, back there is so saturated too. If this is that wet, that's going to be saturated pretty good into the wood. It needs to be removed to let the wood dry and put something on the wood to prevent any mold and mildew building up. So what you want to do is you cut it out so it goes to the next dry beam. When you get to the next dry beam, the 2x4 is basically this long, so you're looking at halfway. So you want to cut it in the center of the beam. That way when you put the new piece in, you've got somewhere to screw to. But make sure you go to the next dry beam. Now, you don't have to go all the way up to the top of the 4-foot width of it. You can take and cut it here if you have to. If the water's here, you can cut it out here. Okay, for here, you can put in a brace. You can put a 2x4 in here. There's braces you can use so that you can screw to this section. Then you tape it, put some drywall paste on it, smooth it out, and then it can be painted. Now, there's a lot of information online, a lot of videos will show you how to correctly paste it and how to finish the texture. If you have a problem with the texture, get a professional to do it for you. But that's what you got. Now, I'm going to turn this to show you what I'm talking about. You can see this is a 2x4. You have to imagine and follow me with this. This goes from the floor to the ceiling. It's not just a little piece here. This is just to show you what it's like. This goes all the way to the ceiling. It's got the 2x4 here, 2x4 up here. Same thing over here. it's sealed. There's nowhere you can get between here. Even if you had one electrical plate, it's only going to be in one particular area. That's not going to let enough air get in there to do anything. So you want to make sure that's cut out. Now, most restoration companies that's been doing this a while, they will gladly cut it out. You won't have to beg them to cut it out, believe me, because they make money doing it. So they're going to do it. What you have to watch is when you got somebody that's inexperienced, or just getting into the business maybe, and they come out and first thing they do is suck out the water. They'll put a little bit of sealer on it if they know what they're doing as far as that goes. Half the time they don't even know that, but they may just put sealer on it, paint it, and try and get away with it. Ask you to sign a release. Do not sign a release if the water's up here. If it's a small one, you're probably okay. But if you've got a lot of water damage all the way up the wall, do not sign a release unless they tear that drywall out. Because you're going to end up with mold and mildew in your house. You and your family will probably end up sick. So I highly recommend you make sure this is done correctly. Now, I'm going to show you something here. This is just a coffee bottle. It's got a wet rag in there. I took a picture of this, and I only took a picture of this part of it. I put it on my website, and it was 10 days old, and it showed where it had been in the sun, it'd been in the air conditioning, it'd been in just about everything, and it still had the water in it. Now it's over 80 days, and I'll see if I can get it to the camera when you can actually see what I'm talking about. I don't know if you'll be able to see the water, but yeah, there you can see the water now in there. And that's over 80 days. It's still in there. It's not going nowhere. The cloth is all going black. That's mold and mildew building up in there. So you got basically the same thing in that wall. You may get a little bit more circulation in it compared to this bottle, but not enough where it's going to dry quick enough that you won't get mold. It's going to take too long. It's going to be mold and mildew in there. So in my opinion, I recommend you should cut that section out and have it replaced. Now, go to my site, you'll find a lot of information on different categories, problems that you may run into, your flood damage, wet upholstery, wet carpet, wet popcorn sealants, and things like that. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helps explain a few things to you about wet drywall. You have a great day. Please visit my website, watermitigationadvice.com. Thank you again.